welcome to episode 42 of My Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. So welcome everybody, I hope you're all okay and I hope you've had a lovely crafty 2 weeks. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of September, I remembered it this week, and this episode will go live onto YouTube tomorrow on Thursday. Anything that I talk about, I nearly forgot that bit again, anything that I talk about will be linked in the description box below, and all the information about where you can find me is also linked below as well. So, first of all, excuse the screen behind me, that'll turn off in a minute. I'm trying to block it so it doesn't get in your way. I'll just kind of sit here for a little bit and hopefully it won't annoy you. It'll just time out in a minute. I've been sat waiting to press record till it times out, but it's taking forever. So we've got a lot to talk about this week. I have made some notes because I don't want to forget anything. So first of all, we're going to have a quick run through about the make along. I'll put the hashtag on the screen, and it's the inspiration make along, which finishes on the 30th of September, so next week. I haven't had a response from the person that won the last pattern draw prize, which was Hippie. So I will leave that open. And if they don't get in touch, I'll redraw that when I draw the end prize winners. I can't show you what the prizes are yet for the end. We're still grabbing them together. But the prizes will be drawn on the next podcast episode. Sometimes I do it on a vlog, and I know that not everybody watches the vlogs, so I'll do it on the next episode, which will be in 2 weeks' time. But thank you to all of you that have taken part. I'll have to think of another make-along to do. I've really enjoyed it. It's been lovely. But yeah, there will be prizes at the end, and I'll talk about that on the next episode. So that is the first one, and like I say, just thank you all for taking part. It's been so lovely. It's been the biggest make-along that I've done, or the longest running make-along that I've done, and I've really, really enjoyed it. I've no idea what to do for the next one, but we shall see. I'll think of something, hopefully. So I've talked about that. I've got some incoming goodies to share as well. I'll do that after I've talked about the knitting and crochet content, although I think it's just knitting. It's timed out, I can relax now. I think it's just knitting content this week. Yes, I think it is. So I've got that to talk about, and we've got a little bit of shop talk right at the end and a bit of a life update as well. So I feel like I've forgotten something, but I don't think I have, because I have my trusty notes. Oh, look what's on the front of my notebook. Isn't it gorgeous? I'll talk about that at the end as well. Well, after the knitting content. So we're just going to get into it. We are just going to get into it. We're going to start... Oh, I've forgotten one. Hang on a minute. I am totally prepared now. So we're going to start with finished objects, and why break tradition? Let's just start with socks. I do have finished socks. So I've got them over here. The second pair that I finished, but these are the ones that are on blockers, so these are the ones I'm going to show first, are Ruby's birthday socks. Aren't they beautiful? They're absolutely gorgeous. I think the yarn is just perfect for birthday socks. Look at that. This is the yarn that I got from Yarndale last year. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called now, but I did talk about it in the last episode. So I won't go into too much detail. And the purple is one that I've dyed. It's actually a sparkle yarn, but you can see it a little bit. In real life, it's much more sparkly, but they're absolutely gorgeous. This time for Ruby's socks, I've done her socks the same as mine because her feet are growing. So if they are a little bit big, they'll just last longer. So I've just done 64 stitches, a 2x2 rib for the cuff, and then I did 20 rounds because the shorty socks on the leg, shadow wrap heel as always, and I did 54 rounds for the foot, which is the same as I do for me. I think Ruby's last socks I maybe did 50 rounds for the foot, so I just made them a little bit bigger. But aren't they gorgeous? I'm beyond pleased with those. That's just Danny coming in. He has been to the post office. So that's those. I've got something to tell you about the post office trip in a minute. I'll tell you later. Oh, I need my blockers. My next pair of finished socks. On the last episode, I found these socks by surprise and sort of went, oh, I'm going to finish those. I forgot I was doing those. These are the August honey socks. I cannot tell you how pleased I am with these. Now, they look a little bit big on the blockers because I've been wearing them and I had to take them out of the wash basket this morning. I meant to get them washed in time for the podcast. Completely forgot. They are clean, but you can tell I've been wearing them. But these are the August honey socks. I'm going to take them off the blockers to show you that gorgeous pattern. They're just, honestly, out of all the socks that I've made, I have two favourite sock patterns now. The other one I'll talk about in a minute. But this pattern is just, and you see, it's like a cabled. It's not showing up properly. You can kind of see it. It's all like a honeycomb. They're called the August honey socks, and they really are like a honeycomb. These socks fit me like a glove, literally like a glove. They are the best socks. They are so comfortable. All my socks fit well, but you know, sometimes you get like a little bit of bagginess once you've had them on for an hour or two. These just fit like a glove. I did make some modifications. The pattern's really, really good. It's a paid for pattern. Sorry, you wanted to come past? It's a paid for pattern, and I'm not sure what the heel is in the pattern. It's not a heel flap and gusset, but it's not the shadow wrap heel. Now, I've not knit enough different heels to know what it is, but I just put the shadow wrap heel in. I did a 1x1 rib for the cuff, which I don't think the pattern called for. I think it might have been a 2x2 rib. I can't remember, but I know I did a 1x1 rib, and I put the shadow wrap heel in. In the pattern, it goes from the rib directly to the heel. Now, I know from, obviously you all know that I make quite a lot of shorty socks. I know I need a little bit of rounds between the heel and the leg. So I did a full pattern repeat before I went into the heel. So that was the only modification I made in changing the heels. So they are linked on my Ravelry. If you want to see the modifications that I made, they are linked on my Ravelry, and it worked out perfectly. I think if I'd have gone straight from the rib to the heel, they'd have been too short for me. I must have big feet. But one pattern repeat was just 8 rounds. That's all it was. And that's all I did. But they are just the most gorgeous socks ever. I absolutely love them. I'll be making lots more of these. The yarn is the Birthday Bonanza yarn that Danny dyed for me earlier on in the year, which is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. And I have some left to make some more shorty socks. Yeah, that's your yarn.
I know. Wait till January comes.
Why?
Birthday Bonanza.
Yes, we are doing Birthday Bonanza again. That's going to have to be a yearly event, I think. But yeah, so second pair of socks, and now they do need to go in the wash so I can wear them again. Now, my final finished object is one that was not even mentioned on the podcast at all last time. I did mention it on the vlog last week. So last week, Danny and I took a trip out to Skipton. I wanted to go to our local yarn shop, which I did. And I picked up some yarn. Now this, I think I've taken it upstairs. It's a mohair yarn. So this is my finished object. Now, there's a little bit of a story to this. Isn't it gorgeous? I had 2 skeins of yarn. Sorry, they're upstairs. I can't even show you. I could go and get them. But they're on my vlog last week. I've been wanting to try mohair for quite some time. If I make garments or anything, I always make them in acrylic. I am super sensitive to yarn. Superwash merino on my feet is perfectly fine. I can't afford to make a garment in superwash merino, so I always choose acrylic. And as well, I think it's really easy to take care of. When I've spent weeks making something, sometimes even months, I don't want to have the fear of washing it and ruining it. So I do use acrylic a lot. But nevertheless, I'd been desperate to try some mohair. I've tried alpaca, and that really does make me itch. And I've tried, what was the other one? Floof. That's okay. I don't know if it's the same thing. But I was really desperate to try mohair because you see some gorgeous garments. Sorry, I'm just stroking the pom-pom. You see some gorgeous garments, don't you, made with fingering weight and mohair held double, and they look amazing. I thought I'm just going to try some. So when I went to the local yarn shop last week, I picked up a skein of Lang Super Kid mohair in this beautiful red colour. The yarn I was using was a brown. So the brown is the... Let me get the yarn. Hang on. Honestly, how I expect to talk about something when I can't show you, I don't know. So this is the yarn that I bought. This is the yarn that I had. This yarn, I don't know what it is. It had no label. It was given to me as a gift last year, along with this pom-pom, which I just love. And I've saved it and saved it for the perfect pattern. I know it's a fingering weight yarn. I just don't know what it is. So this is the yarn I picked up in our local yarn shop, and it's a Lang mohair yarn. There was no colourway on it. It was just a number. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I thought those two together would look really, really lovely. So I just wanted to try the mohair and see. So I had a pattern that it was gifted to me last year in the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, and it was the Salem beanie hat. So you all know I've made the Salem sweater, so when I saw there was a beanie hat to match, I was just beyond excited. The Salem sweater is a beautiful pattern. I made that earlier on this year and absolutely loved it. So I got this yarn, I got my pattern out, and I started the pattern. Again, I have talked about it on the vlog last week. I don't know what the problem was. The pattern didn't work. The numbers just didn't add up, and I really wasn't in the headspace, to try and figure out what was wrong or be contacting anybody trying to find out what was wrong. I just wanted to knit a hat. A lot of my projects at the moment are big projects, so I just wanted to knit a hat. So I gave up on the pattern and thought, well, I've knit enough now to try and kind of attempt to figure this out. I have no idea what I've done. This actually works. So I had the rib cast on anyway, which was quite small, so I kind of had to increase, and all I did was just knit and kept trying it on as I went. And I did say on the vlog last week, I really wanted to use the pom-pom, which I've nearly undone now, so I'm going to hold it like that because it's going to fall off. I really wanted to use the pom-pom. But I know I only ever knit slouchy hats, so I was really concerned that if I knit a slouchy hat, the pom-pom's not going to look right on it. So I was trying hard to sort of measure as I go and not get it over slouchy so I could fit this pom-pom on it. I've put the pom-pom on just to show you how amazing it looks, but it's going to fall off now because I've undone it inside. It doesn't work with the pom-pom, the hat's too slouchy. I'm going to put it on, but the pom-pom's hanging out, so I might have to kind of pull it. It's too slouchy, you see, for the pom-pom. Although the hat itself is just beautiful. I've not blocked it or anything. So I'm going to take the pom-pom off now, because it's one of those that you just tie on with a button. So it's really easy to take off. And I'm going to show you it without the pom-pom. So although I didn't really know what I was doing with the pattern, I did measure as I went and I just kept adjusting the stitch count. If it was looking a little bit, once I'd done the rib, it was clearly too small. So I went up 2 needle sizes after the ribbing, and then I increased stitches as well. I kept all the stitch count to a multiple of 6, so I could decrease in multiples of 6. And it did look small when I was knitting it last week, but get my hair right and put it back on. It is the perfect size. Because I don't have a big head. Here we go. Can you see? Is that coming out? I just love it. Absolutely love it. It's my perfect colour. It's my perfect hat. And because the rib is really snug, it's worked out really well. It's not tight. There's plenty of room in it, but it does hug my head, so it's not going to fall off. I do have hats that as you've had them on for a little bit... What's going on there? My hair's gone the wrong way. As you've had them on for a little bit, they loosen up. And especially when I'm driving in a hat, they tend to sort of do this as I'm driving, and I find it really annoying. But this one's not going to do. It is super soft. I attempted to write down what I did. I'll show you what I wrote down. This is me. That's the sum total of my notes. So how I'm supposed to remember that for future, I don't know. But if you if you want to see what I did, that's it. So I cast on with a 3.25mm. I cast on 96 stitches. I did knit purl, 2 purl for 2 inches. I then switched to a 3.75mm needle. And I've said I added 12 stitches, but I didn't, because when I came to decrease, I hadn't added 12 stitches. So on that first decrease round, I took it down to a multiple of 6. I can't remember how many I had on the needles because I didn't write it down, but it wasn't 12. It might have been 14 I'd cast on by mistake. And then I kind of knit it to 6.5 inches in total after that. And then I did a decrease round followed by 2 knit rounds, and it gave me this gorgeous slouchy look. Absolutely love it. And, sorry, I've got an itchy nose now with the mohair. As much as I love this hat, and sorry, my nose is really itching now. Oh, this is what I mean, I'm so sensitive. As much as I love this hat and I can wear this hat, I couldn't cope in a garment. I couldn't wear it. So it's answered my question on can I or can't I with mohair, and the answer is I can't with mohair, but I can totally wear a hat. I could probably, I don't know if I could wear mitts. You see, on my hands, that's okay, but the second it moves up to my wrist, it's starting to do that. And I certainly couldn't have it any higher up than that. But yeah, I absolutely love it. It's just beautiful. So minus the pom-pom, which means I need to find another hat for this amazing pom-pom, which I just adore. Absolutely adore this pom-pom. Or if any of you have got any other ideas for other things you do with pom-poms, I suppose I could put it on a keyring, couldn't I, and have it on my bag, but it's a really big pom-pom. But yeah, so I need to find something else for the pom-pom. But yeah, so that is it for the finished objects and the gorgeous hat. That's just like my perfect hat recipe. By mistake. I didn't mean to do it. I had no intentions of doing, but the decreases are quite well. I just pulled once I got down to, I think I had 12 stitches left at the end. I just thread the needle, thread the yarn through all the stitches and pulled it tight. It's really gorgeous. So that is that. Right, now, Jack is at the window staring at me. Bless him. On to works in progress. What have we got to talk about? Where's my notes? I love these little books. I have the side with the sticker is the side for all my knitting notes. So I've got projects that I've got lined up. I've got my hat. I've got Danny's sock recipe in here. Podcast notes in this side, but then I flip it the other way. And on this side, I've got all my make-along giveaway things and other things to do more with the podcast. So I use it from both directions. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. Whips. Right, so do you want to see the first whip? I'm just going to get it out and show you. It's not got needles attached. It's not finished, but it doesn't have needles attached. So this is the Miles shirt jacket. As you all know, I've been working on this for some time. I've heavily modified, not heavily modified, but I have modified the pattern quite a lot. Where's my pattern? I'll show you the pattern. To avoid some of the trickier aspects of it. Now, where's the picture? The pattern was a gift to me by my lovely friend Sue in Canada. She has the the Distant Stitches podcast and the Tangled Skein Etsy shop. Do go and check her out. She's such a lovely person. But yes, me and Sue are really good friends and we're always sending each other little gifts, and she sent me this pattern. It was a few months ago. I can't remember what it was for. I think she gifted me this when I was in hospital with the low blood sugars, and she sent me it to cheer me up. I think that's when it was, this one. But it's the Miles shirt jacket. It's beautiful. You can't tell on this picture so well. There might be another picture. I don't think there is. The edges of the jacket are actually designed to be like a shirt, so they come down at the edges, and it uses short rows to do that. Because there was a lot of, not tricky things, nothing in this pattern has been tricky. The pattern has been so well explained. The problem is I put myself off doing these things before I even started the pattern. I was telling myself, well, I can't do that and I can't do that. And once I actually tried some of the things that I thought were really, really tricky, I could have done it all because the pattern is so well explained. So I've done it in Aran weight. I think the pattern calls for worsted, and I think if I'd have done it in double knit, it would have hung a little bit better because I've used Aran. Obviously it needs blocking, it'll hang better when it's been blocked, but it's a little bit, what's the word? It's not hanging so well, but I think blocking will sort that. The other thing is with this pattern, I want it to be like a big snuggly coat that I can wear in the car in winter. I hate driving in coats, and this is going to be perfect. So I'm just going to put it on and then we'll talk about it. As you can see, I have one sleeve to do. I was actually wearing this the other day when I finished this sleeve in the house. So this is it. Move my chair back. I've kind of just done it to there. The reason I've only done it that long is because I want to wear it in the car and I don't want it all ruffling up on my back in the car. And this is the sleeves. Absolutely gorgeous. It's just beautiful. Now, I did lower the positive ease on it quite a bit. I can't remember how much positive ease the pattern called for, but I only did 5 inches. It was more than that. But I just thought, I'm going to be in the car. I don't want... That's what it's for. I don't want it to be sort of buried in it when I'm trying to drive. So I did lower the positive ease on it. This folded collar, honestly. So it has this amazing folded collar. Move my hair out of the way. It's just the softest, squishiest thing, and round your neck it feels so comfortable. That was one of the things I was really concerned about. It was so easy. There are video supports in the pattern. I didn't even need to use them. The pattern explained it so well, I just knew exactly what to do. So I shouldn't have worried about that. I did leave off the detail around the edging. Like I say, it should have come down like a shirt, like that. But I left that off worrying about it because it was short rows, so I just did a 1x1 rib. I haven't put any button bands on because I don't use them, so it's pointless me putting them on. I was really worried about this bit, the button band. I've only ever made garments, and the first cardigan I made was the Whitmore cardigan, and the button band was built in. So it's kind of always been one of those things where I thought, oh God, a button band, it must be hard work. You know, once you've done everything, you've then got to go and pick all the stitches up for a button band. It was so quick. It really was. It took no time at all. So why I've been worrying about button bands, I don't know. And this is what I think can sometimes happen with a pattern. You sort of look at it and think, oh, I can't do that. There is nothing. I mean, this shoulder detail, look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It's just amazing. It was so easy. There was nothing in this pattern that was difficult whatsoever. So I'm going to make it again. Like I say, this one is for the car. So I like the fact that it's so thick with it being Aran weight because it's going to keep me super warm in the winter. I'm still wearing it with one sleeve, honestly. But I would like to make another one with all of the design features, except the buttons, but with all of the design features of the original. So I'm definitely going to make another one, and I'm going to do the next one in a DK weight as well. It's just beautiful. Absolutely. And I think another one in red. I'm really feeling red at the moment. But isn't it gorgeous? I just love the collar. I didn't do the collar as long as what it said. I think I finished it 1/2 inch sooner. because I knew that it'd sort of sit like that. You know how it kind of sits like that, and I thought if it's too long, it's going to be up there. And again, I'm going to be using it in the car more than anything. But I'm so proud of it. I had every intention of casting on the second sleeve straight away. As you can see, I didn't. My friend Sue, I think, will have finished hers by now. We were at a similar stage at the weekend. She had 2 sleeves to go, and I just had 1 sleeve, the collar and the button band. So we should have been on the last sleeve together at the same time, but I let the team down and didn't cast the sleeve on, but never mind. I'll get it done, it won't take long. But yeah, it's just beautiful and exactly what I need for winter. So I'm going to try and get that finished off this week. I was hoping to have it ready for Yarndale, but Yarndale's on Sunday. I'll talk about that more at the end, and this isn't going to be finished. We're on Wednesday now, there's no way. But it's just gorgeous. The yarn is Mariner's yarn. It's the cone of yarn that I bought. I bought it directly from the Mariner's website, and it was 1,000 grams of Aran weight yarn, and it was really cheap. I think it was about £8 or £9. Really, really cheap. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. I really love it. Everything about the pattern, the positive ease that I reduced it to, the thickness and coziness of it, even with a t-shirt on. It's quite cold today, it's only 9 degrees, and I feel so snuggly in this. So I'm going to get that finished. This is the yarn, I'll show you that. I've still got so much left. That's a lot of yarn left, so I can make another Aran weight sweater with what's left. So that is work in progress number 1. Just pop that back in there. I've left all my stitch markers on my sleeve so I can do the next sleeve exactly the same. Quite smart, I thought. But everybody does that, don't they? I never did. Right, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee before it goes cold. Right, my next work in progress is another new cast on that you haven't seen, and this cast on has meant that my Rocket DK has had to go onto hold because I don't have enough cables, and I was desperate to cast this on. Now, the cast on was not my fault at all. I was having a chat in the Discord group with some of honestly, the patrons are just the most amazing bunch of people. I am so lucky. And we were having a chat in the Discord group, and we were chatting about, was it works in progress or the gift knits? I can't remember which one we were talking about, but the subject of ponchos came up. And somebody was making a poncho, and then somebody else said, oh, I've made this poncho, and I got real fear of missing out. I've never made a poncho. And I just thought, I think that's something I might like. So I really didn't want to be having to buy any yarn. I don't have any Aran weight yarn left apart from what's on that cone. So I could have used that, to be fair. Yeah, I really could have waited and used what was left. I also had this Sirdar jewel spun left over, which is an Aran weight cardigan. I'd started a cardigan, I think it was earlier on this year, and I just didn't get on with it. I have the back of it completed. This is it. That's the back of it. So that's what the yarn looks like. But I'd completed a side, because it's knit flat, I'd completed one of the sides and nothing matched up, and I couldn't work out why and what I was doing wrong. I think what I'd done wrong is I'd forgotten to add some rows on somewhere along the way. So my row count on the panel was completely wrong, and I just didn't have the headspace at the time to try and figure out what I'd done. You know what it's like sometimes when you've got to put thought into something and you just want to knit. I just thought I don't have the headspace to figure out what I've done wrong. This is it. Oh, I've got a row counter in there. Hang on a minute. Everything on my knee now. We'll just get that. I was looking for that row counter. This was the side. You see, I've literally just pulled it off the needles, and it should have been so far up. Where are we? It should have been so far up here and it was nowhere near where it should have been. So I just couldn't work out what I'd done. And like I say, I just didn't have the headspace to try and figure it out. So I just left it, which is not good. So I need to wind this yarn back up. Anyway, we were talking about ponchos. So I thought I really would like to try and make a poncho. So I had a little look on Ravelry and I came across this one. This is a Sirdar pattern. Now, it wasn't a free pattern. I can't remember how much it was. But I just thought, look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It's just gorgeous. And it's got the most amazing texture detail on it, which is just beautiful. And I had the exact yarn. This is the exact yarn. So I thought, I'm just going to make it. So this is what I've done. So like I say, I don't think it's 100% my fault. It is 100% my fault. It really is. I didn't have to cast this on at all. I just wanted to. But I've not done very much on it. And I had to steal the cable and the needles from my Rocket DK in order to start it. I need to buy some more needles and cables. But you see, isn't it beautiful? It's just gorgeous. So it's knit, you knit the front and then you knit the back and then you join them both together. And like I say, it's Aran weight as well, so I don't think it'll take over long. I love the collar on it. Go back to the picture. I absolutely adore the collar on it. I just think it's beautiful. So I've cast that on, not very far into it yet, but it is a new cast on, so I thought I'd show you it. This is the only ball of yarn I've got left, and I think it needs... it says 4. With the back of the other cardigan, I've probably got a ball there as well. So I'm going to need to buy 2 balls of it. But my local Hobbycraft sells this, so I shouldn't have a problem. But yeah, it's just really lovely. It's just a really lovely pattern. It is obviously a textured pattern, so there's quite a lot of purling in it. But purling, I don't mind purling. It doesn't bother me at all. So that's fine. But yeah, it's lovely. So that's work in progress number 2. And I've shown you the socks. And I have done some more on the Vertices Unite. And I don't know if you want to see it really, because you're not going to... from when I showed you it last... I'm going to show you it. Where is it? I hadn't picked this up in weeks, and then all of a sudden the other night I thought I really want to work on my Vertices Unite, so I decided just to go for it. Now, I was really struggling with this pattern. This is one pattern that I want the finished project more than I want to actually knit it. But I did leave it for a few weeks and took all the pressure off, and now it's just all I want to work on. So I was actually there where the stitch marker was last time, so I've done all that in the past couple of nights. I'm really pleased to have picked it back up again. This is where half of my cables are. I've got a cable here and I've got another cable here. So I'm really enjoying working on it again. I'm just getting up to the end of the first half of this section and then I'll be decreasing, so that'll go quite quick. And this is the last biggest section, apart from that I-cord bind off at the end, but it's the last biggest section. So I've really enjoyed it. I picked it up again, what day was it, Monday, and I've been working on it ever since. And sometimes I think it's just nice just to take the pressure off. I won't go into too much detail, but that's it so far. There's a section on it where I'm going to have, it's not the next section after this, it's the next one, and I'm going to have the black that I've got in this one and the orange from this one. I'm going to stripe those two, and I think it's going to look amazing. It's really autumnal. My only concern is the border. I wanted to do in the, it's not black, it's grey, in the grey, and I'm not sure I'm going to have enough of it for the border, so I might have to get some more grey just to finish off the border, because I think the border's only going to look right in grey. But yeah, I won't go into that one too much because there's not a lot to see and you've seen it a million times. So that is it for works in progress. Now, let me get a drink. We're at 35 minutes. I'm trying to keep it under an hour. I've never made an hour anyway, so I should be able to keep it under an hour. I've got some things that I want to cast on. I want to cast on, I mentioned this earlier and forgot to say. Do you remember me making the old sweatshirt socks? Well, since the weather has turned cold, I have lived in those socks. Absolutely lived in those. So I want to cast on some more of those. Now, I also won last month. I won the Day Designs sock along. I've run it twice now. I can't win it again. I just can't. But I was absolutely over the moon. Denise sent me 2 balls of this. Isn't it the most gorgeous sock yarn you've ever seen? I've never heard of this before. It's Regia Zufari colour. I looked online and I couldn't find where you could buy it online. There are some balls of it on eBay. It's just beautiful. So I won some of this. So I was going to cast on immediately, but I thought I'm just going to wait. I need to get some socks off the needles before I cast on any more. Ruby's birthday socks being one of them. So I'm going to cast these on this week. And I'm going to knit these ones. I'm not going to knit them 2 at a time, but I'm going to knit them concurrently. So I'll do 2 cuffs, 2 legs, 2 heels and do it that way. So the 50-gram balls. So I'm going to knit long socks in these, I think. So I've got that to cast on. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't believe I won it again. Absolutely brilliant. And I actually won another make-along as well. Do you know, I never win make-alongs. And then all of a sudden, I've won 3 this year, which is just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I've been taking part in Mandy's make-along, the Knitting with Ukraine, and I won that one. So I'm going to show you what I won. I'm actually using this already. I won this gorgeous Notions pouch, which honestly is the best thing I've ever seen. I love the button on it. You see that? It's just beautiful. So I won this beautiful Notions pouch. So I've got Notions in it and I've got needles in it as well. Look at the lining. Isn't it gorgeous? I was blown away with that. I love it so much. And I also won some yarn. These gorgeous, gorgeous skeins of yarn. Aren't they beautiful? They are all gorgeous. So these will be going into my, well, I'm saying they're going into my C2C, but we've got something to talk about. I've got some patterns to share with you, which I'll do in a minute. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat about this. But yeah, it's just beautiful. There is a chance I could have 2 blankets on the go by the end of this podcast. So there's that. And then I was very, very lucky as well. Danny has had some yarn sent to him. A lovely viewer of the podcast. And I've mentioned last time that I was really out of sock needles, which I have been. And I was struggling to finish Ruby's birthday socks because my needles are broke and I didn't have many other needles left. So she said, I've got some Knit Pro Zings if you'd like me to send them, because she preferred another style of needle. So I said, oh, that'd be great. So she sent a package. And she sent these for Danny, because as you all know, Danny has started to knit. So he's got some contrast heels and toes for socks. Aren't they just beautiful? Danny was absolutely blown away. This is Lamington Lash Yarns, and the colourway of this one is Beware of the Beware of the Jade Dragon. It's just beautiful. I really like these. But the Danny's, they're not for me. But they're just gorgeous. She sent me this gorgeous, I won't read what's on it. Look at this, isn't it beautiful? It's a gorgeous postcard, which I absolutely love. Just beautiful. And I was expecting 1 pair of needles. I've already got 2 in my other bag, but she sent me lots of needles. So I've got plenty of sock needles. Now I don't need any more sock needles. She's completely kitted me out. I've got them in all different sizes. As you know, I do use different sizes of sock needles. If I cast on 60 stitches, I do it on a 2.75 needle. If I cast on 64 stitches, I do it on a 2.5, and I can get away with 2.25 as well. So she sent me so many sock needles, which I've got in here. So thank you so much for that. It was so appreciated. I was blown away when I opened that parcel yesterday. So thank you very, very much. And shall we talk about some patterns? So I've got some patterns to share. First of all, the first pattern I want to talk about is not one that I found. It came from Davina. I'm sure you all watch Davina at Little Workroom Crafts. She is the most amazing person. She is just the most brilliant, cleverest person ever. She crafts, she does crochet, cross stitch, sewing, knitting, spinning, absolutely everything. She's just an all-round crafter, and she's one of the most beautiful people. She really is. So I always look forward to Davina's podcast. And when she brought the podcast out, she was talking about these mitts. Now, I immediately, before she'd even finished speaking, I'd downloaded the pattern and it was printing. For those of you that haven't seen it, I'm sure you've already seen it, so I'm probably just repeating what Davina's already said. But if you've not watched Davina's podcast yet, she did talk about these. These are the Hermiones Everyday Mitts, exactly like the Hermiones Everyday Sock, which is the most amazing free sock pattern. She's now brought out a knit version, which is brilliant. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is DK weight as well. So I've got a skein of DK weight upstairs waiting for something, and it's going to be these mitts. So absolutely cannot wait to start these. I've got another knit pattern as well. Where did I put that? Oh, is it under here? Yeah. This one is what I got from my local yarn shop last week. This is another mitt pattern that I'm eyeing up. Well, eyeing up, I bought the pattern, so I'm going to do it. And it's a 4-ply fingering weight mitt pattern, which is just beautiful. So I've got that one to do as well. Now, I have found some more patterns on Ravelry that I wanted to talk about. So the first one is quite a large pattern. We all love a blanket for winter. I am no exception. I love a winter blanket. So this is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's called the 10-stitch blanket. You see that? Might be a better picture in here. There we go. And you basically knit into a spiral. So you knit in any weight yarn that you want, and it's all just scraps and leftover yarn. So this one's been knitted on 5.5 needles. I'm going to be doing this with fingering weight scraps. So basically you'll start with a little tiny square and you'll go around in a spiral and just keep on going till it's however big you want it. So I have the C2C on the go at the moment, but I really want to cast on this as well. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm in a bit of a dilemma, but it's gorgeous. I think it's going to be one of those relaxing projects that you can just pick up and put down whenever. It'll take forever if you do it in a fingering weight, but when it's finished, it's going to be so satisfying. So, free pattern on Ravelry. If you're looking for a blanket pattern, there is that. Another free pattern that I've come across is this sweater pattern. This is another large pattern. And it's called the Step by Step Sweater. Now, I'm going to have to put a picture on the screen because the pattern only has this on it. Hang on. There might be a picture at the end. Yes, there is a picture at the end. Goodness me, Alex. Isn't it beautiful? It's a free pattern. It's gorgeous. What I really liked about this pattern is in the description of it, she said she's done it for however many sizes. Where have we got it here? Doesn't say. But she says on the description, I can't find it on here, if you are a size that is larger or smaller than she's given instructions for, she says just to contact her and she will give you a version of the graded pattern, which is a free pattern. It's a lot of work to make a sweater pattern for all those different sizes and to give it away for free and to say if you want a different size, just contact me. I think that's amazing, and it is just our community, isn't it? Everybody likes to help each other, but that is just going above and beyond. I mean, look at the pattern. It's beautiful. And like I say, if you get this pattern and there's not your size there, she does say, in the, you know, we get the description on Ravelry, she says, just contact me and I'll grade it for you, which I just think is absolutely amazing. It's worsted weight, which is Aran weight for us in the UK, or DK, depends on whether it's light worsted or not. If it's light worsted, I would go DK. If it's normal worsted, I would go Aran. I think, now I've always presumed, I could be totally wrong, I always presumed that worsted was in between DK and Aran. I could be wrong on that. That's what I've always done anyway. But it's just gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. So there is that free pattern as well. If you would like a sweater pattern, if you'd never made one before, give it a go. And the last pattern I have to show you is by Yarn Cafe Creations, and it is the Autumn Hippie Shawl, which is just gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't it the most amazing thing you've ever seen? This is another free pattern on Ravelry. So this one is fingering weight. You need 5 skeins of contrasting yet coordinating colours. And it's basically a sampler shawl, so there'll be all different stitch patterns. Oh, it tells you here, look. The Autumn Hippie Shawl is a top-down triangular shawl with attributes of a sampler shawl. There are different patterns used in many of the sections, but none are too difficult for the beginning to intermediate knitter. The shawl was inspired by the changing of the leaves that happen as early as August at my home in Utah. I can see the mountains from my kitchen window, and I'm always watching for the signs that autumn is here. I chose 5 colours that represent autumn, but you can choose any colours that bring you happiness. You may even be able to use up a mini skein or 2, and don't be afraid to use fewer colours or more than I chose. There is a lace design in the last section of the shawl, but if this lace pattern doesn't suit you, feel free to knit the last section in stockinette or garter, increasing in the same places as the rest of the pattern. That noise was Danny's chair. It needs oiling, by the way. It's really squeaky. My favourite part of this design, which you will add after you block it, are the long tassels. I wanted to create a shawl that was representative of some of the things I love. I'm a child of the 70s, and I remember my mother crocheting me an orange poncho with long fringes on it when I was a little girl. I love this poncho so much because of those long fringes. If tassels aren't your thing, feel free to leave them off. Doesn't that description just make you want to knit it? I have got so many single skeins of fingering weight yarn. I'm making this. It's just beautiful. So there are my patterns that I've chosen this week to share with you all. I hope something has been of interest in there. They have for me anyway. I kind of choose patterns that I like. That's what we all do, isn't it? So we've done that. Right, we'll get into a little bit of a life update type stuff and then get into business at the end. So thank you for all of those of you that have watched along, but if the live stuff isn't your thing, then I will see you next time. And for those of you that want to stay around for the live update, we'll start that now. So thank you to everyone that has sent well wishes for Finn. He's doing really well. So he's done 2 weeks, so he's into week 3 now at high school, and he's settled in finally. He's not done the bus was just too much, but other than that, he's doing really, really well. He's enjoying it, he's settled, which is just brilliant. Josh has also done well at school as well. So everything is finally calm and just going with the flow. We've got into the routine of school. It's been a little bit traumatic, and oh my God, how are we going to get through this? But we've got into the rhythm of it, and it's just smooth sailing from here on out, I think. So we've had that. We have Yarndale this weekend. I'm going on Sunday. I'm beyond excited. Last year when I went to Yarndale, it was my first ever yarn festival. And I was just honestly walking in, I was just like, oh my God, this is just amazing. So I did go a little bit nuts with what I bought last year. That is not happening this year. With the cost of living crisis in the UK, I cannot afford to go nuts at Yarndale. But I'm very specific. I know what I need. I need some cables, some Chowgoo cables, so I can cast on more projects. So my cables are in use. And I literally, without putting something on hold, I can't cast on anything else. But I do want to have a look around and maybe treat myself to a skein or of yarn. It will probably just be one. I've got to be good this year. But I am just beyond excited. So if you are going to Yarndale, we'll be there on Sunday. Please come and say hi. Finn is going to come with us this year as well. And yeah, just come and say hello. I would love to meet you. If you watch the podcast, just come and say hi. It'd be lovely to say hi. And yeah, I'm really, really, really excited. I cannot wait. I've looked on all the dyers. There's a few dyers there that I've heard of, but I've never actually used the yarn, so I need to go and have a look. All my favourite dyers are there. There was somebody else that was there, and I can't think who it was. I was looking at the Yarndale information the other night. I can't remember who it was that I've heard of and always thought, oh, I need to get to that stall. So I'm going to write myself an itinerary on Saturday with every place that I need to go. And yeah, can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. I really can't. So that's Sunday. We're going to there. Jake is moving out at the weekend. Oh my God. So Jake and his girlfriend have both been here. Their houses, Jake hadn't moved out at that point, but his girlfriend's house had been renovated. So she moved in here while the house got renovated. Then they're both moving out together. So they actually move out this weekend. It's been so lovely having them both here. It really has. Jasmine has been here since April, May. It's just been lovely. So it's going to be so weird without them. It's just going to be strange. I'm absolutely dreading it. But it means Finlay gets his own room, which he's super excited about. So I've got a lot of decorating to do. I've got to sort that room out for Finlay. He wants a Liverpool bedroom. And I've promised him that I will put a Liverpool mural on his bedroom wall. And it's kind of one of those things that I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. You know, when you've got all this time when you're not really doing anything. Yeah, I can do that. And now I'm thinking, how am I going to have time to paint a mural? I can do it, but it will take me a long time to get it how I want it to get, how I want it to look. So I've said I'll do it, and I'll do it, so I'm dreading it. But yeah, so that needs decorating, and he's going to get his own room, which he's super excited about. We are doing Vlogtober this month. Vlogtober is coming up. We did it last year. Last year for Vlogtober, that was our first sort of step into the vlogs. And as you know, we kind of haven't stopped since. But we will be taking part in Vlogtober. I'm not going to... Sometimes during the vlogs, I don't do a podcast episode because it's vlogs. But I'm not going to miss those off. I'm going to still continue my podcast. So probably on the episode that's podcast day, I won't vlog. That's probably how I'll do it rather than the other way around. So podcast will be up as usual. But yeah, Vlogtober. I can't believe it's this time of year again. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Which means it's also Ruby's birthday coming up. Ruby's Danny's daughter. And it's her birthday on the 30th of September. So she's coming here on the 1st of October. So she'll be all excited for her birthday. And I believe Hocus Pocus 2 is out then. So we've got a movie night planned with Hocus Pocus 2 to watch, which I'm super excited about. So it's all really exciting times at the moment. The Advent is coming to an end. Next month is the last one to get the mini skeins. The month after will be, sorry, we've slipped into shop talk by mistake. That was it for life stuff, by the way. There's nothing else gone on. Last month is month 8, which is the last month of the mini skeins, and then there's an option for a main skein as well. Now, we've had a little bit of a problem with Etsy. Luckily, it's been easily sorted with no issue. We sent all the Advents off yesterday. The reason that we came out late is because we've had terrible weather, but we had a few people that hadn't ordered an Advent, and they'd ordered all the way through, so I just held off on dyeing the Advent to make sure I got everybody. As it turns out, those 2 people never came forward. I dyed the yarn anyway. In the end, I thought, what am I going to do? I don't want to have 2 people miss out on the Advent if they've clearly forgotten. So I dyed the yarn anyway and just thought it'll go as a spare or whatever. Thank God I did, because those 2 people did order and I never got the notification. So we send, when you work on Etsy, you'll know, you 2 people will know who you are, because you'll have a notification from me to say today to say that your order's been dispatched. Everybody else got that notification yesterday. And it's a glitch with Etsy. So I can only say, if you've ordered something on Etsy and a seller hasn't sent it, I don't think the fault could be with the seller. I did all the orders yesterday. Well, I actually did them Monday with a dispatch date of yesterday. And when you go through your orders, everything's in a list. It's very clear to see if you've got an order or you haven't. And you go through them all, I mark them all, I tick all the boxes, I click ship, and it sends a dispatch notification out. It prints me off a label, and that's how it works. So I'd done that on Monday, and when you go into my Etsy after this point, it will say no orders available. And that's what it said, no more orders. So I thought, oh great, these 2 people haven't ordered, but I didn't know who it was, because there are so many of the mini skein, the Advent orders. It's really hard to remember who's who. So I hadn't seen who hadn't ordered. So I couldn't even contact anybody, but I thought, well, I've made the Advents. If they contact me, they're there and they're ready. But I was aware I was too short. So I dispatched it. They all got shipped out yesterday. And then I'd sold something else, and I had to go into Etsy to look at my previous orders to get this person's address. And up popped 2 new orders. There weren't new orders, there were an order date of the 8th of September, but there was nothing on Etsy to tell me that. As it turns out, it was an easy fix. I already had the Advent, I knew I had 2 short, they were dyed, I was able just to print off 2 more labels and get them dispatched. But I was really concerned, because had I not gone onto Etsy this morning to get somebody else's address to send their parcel, I would never have known. I had no notification or anything. So going forward, it's something that I need to be really aware of. And if you've ordered something from me and you haven't received a dispatch notification when you should have done, please reach out, because I don't know what's going on, but I had no orders at all on Monday when I was packaging. So if any of you order something off Etsy and you have the same thing, do reach out to the seller, because there's a chance they don't know. So I'm just thankful that I was able to rectify the problem this morning. But it did worry me a little bit. I mean, we've moved on to the website now. The only things that go onto Etsy are the Advent, and I'm able now just to be aware that this can happen and make sure I'm checking it each day. yeah, it was a little bit concerning, but it's solved. So if you were one of the people that got an advent notification from me this morning, there are 2 of you. I won't say your names on here, I know who you are now. But yeah, it was concerning, and I do believe that you ordered on the 8th of September, looking at the notes on it, but I didn't get it. So just be aware when you're buying off Etsy and a seller hasn't sent something, they may not know. But going forward, I will double check and triple check in future that I have no orders gone missing or no stray orders in the system. These things happen. It's computers. There are glitches. You know, these things do happen. But I think I've always said it's very easy when you've ordered off Etsy to know, because Etsy will notify you that you've got an order, and it stays as an open order on your Etsy homepage. So it's really easy to see. And I've heard stories of people ordering something from Etsy and the seller hasn't been notified. And I've thought, well, I don't know how that happens. I do know how that happens now, and it does happen. So if the seller tells you that they haven't been notified, it really does happen. It will make me more cautious in future about checking things. I'm just so glad that I went onto Etsy this morning and did check. But like I say, that's not the fault of Etsy. It's an app. Apps have glitches. It's how it is. You know, websites have glitches. That's how it is. It just will make me more mindful in the future. So that's the first thing. The second thing, oh God, we've hit over an hour. Goodness me. The second thing, where is it? I thought I'd lost it then. We have a Halloween colourway. This is on the website. It's on pre-order only. It will only be up until maybe a couple of weeks. But this is Danny's Halloween yarn, which I absolutely love. It's a bit bright for Halloween yarn because that was my request. Something a little bit different. But I love it. It's called Sometimes Hocus, Sometimes Pocus. And I just adore it. It's on pre-order only on the website. Excuse me. And yeah, it's just beautiful. It's got pink. It's got teal. It's got, that's not cream, it's like a peachy colour. It's just beautiful. So yeah, this is on pre-order if you would like to order it. Any pre-orders that we do will be shipped on a Friday. So if you'd ordered the following Friday, say if you ordered this on a pre-order tomorrow, it wouldn't be shipped that Friday, it'd be shipped the Friday after. It's about a week to 2 weeks turnaround, just so we can get all pre-orders together, dye them in a batch and then ship them. But yeah, just beautiful. So we have that. We have some new things going into the shop. I've been designing cups. Any yarn that we put on sale on the website will go on the 1st of each month like we've always done. But if I do extra things like the cups, I'll just put them on the website as and when, just so they're on there and things are moving through. I did design some cups on the last update and they didn't sell, and I thought, oh, I would really hope they would sell because I really enjoyed making them. And they didn't sell because we forgot to put them on the website. Somebody messaged me and said, I thought you were doing cups, I can't see any. No, we forgot to put them on the website. So we put them on the website and then they're sold out. So I've made some more. There's some more designs. So there's quite a few designs now of the cups. The cups will always be pre-order only, but they won't have as long as a turnaround on as the yarn, because they're really quick just to put the design on, print it, and package it up. There'll be a limited number on pre-order. It depends how many cups I have in stock, which at the moment is the sum total, sorry, I'm not even looking, of 1, 2, 3, 5. So I need to order some more cups, but I'll show you what we've got. So all these, you can buy one of these. I'm going to show you that last because it's my favourite. That's my favourite. That one's last. Right, so what have we got in this one? They're all different. Oh. This one, oh, I had a drama with it, an absolute drama. I decided, let me get the rustling over with. I decided I wanted a crochet granny square on a cup. I did not take into account how difficult this would be to draw. So all these designs I've hand drawn, and then I've printing it onto a cup. So I draw it out first, I then put it into my design program to print it onto a cup. So I had to draw the granny square, which was an absolute nightmare. I did not realise how difficult this would be. It took me forever. And then the first one that I did turned, I'll get it and show you, one sec. I'm back. So my first one that I did didn't turn out anything like I wanted, and the design program had actually warped the square. So I've kept it for myself, but this was the first one. And it is a crochet granny square, but it didn't cover as much as the cup that I wanted. And you can see the rectangle, that's not a granny square. So I had to go back to the drawing board. So that one's mine, which I have been using and I love, even though it's not a granny square. And I went back to the drawing board and I tried again, and then I had an issue. I was talking about it with patrons. I had an issue because it just wasn't working. It was just not working. So I had to redesign it again, change it all up again, but finally I got there. And this is it. And they are all crochet granny squares. These are printed onto the mug, the dishwasher safe, microwave safe. They're all printed on, nothing's going to come off. But so I have two versions. I have this version, and I'll pop that back in there. Sorry for rustling. That one. Is this the other one? Yes. And this blue one, which I just absolutely love, and it's just crochet granny squares all the way around. So I love this one. And if you look, you can see all the little granny squares. That was a nightmare to try and draw. You can't draw granny squares. It took me forever. But yeah, so I have those ones. That's them two. 3 more, sorry. I love this one. This one. Behind every great behind every great knitter is a huge pile of yarn. And if you look at the word knitter, it's all knit stitches, which I just love. It's not focusing now. There you go. Before it blurs again. Which I hand drew as well. I was so proud of, and I just think it's lovely. So there is that one. There was another design. That one is sold out already. When I get some more cups, I'll put the other design into the shop then. Oh, this was there isn't another design. I've only got one more after this. This was the second mug. I've kept it because it doesn't bother me. Now, this one will go up on its own as a one of a kind. So this was the second mug, and I had the ghosting issue. Now, you get this a lot on cups. It's just where the hot plate finishes. Can you see? So there's just a little bit of a ghosting issue. I still really like it. It is the granny square one. It's the second design that I did. I'm going to put this in the shop, and I'm going to put it up for £6 just as a whoops. Because and if it doesn't sell, I'm going to keep it because I absolutely love it. In fact, if it doesn't go on the website, it means I've kept it because I really like it. And I don't think it's fair to this cup to not put it on for sale because it's got a slight ghost issue here, because it doesn't take away from the fact of how gorgeous it is. And you see, they're all white inside. They're 11-ounce cups, which is, it's hard to explain the size of cups. If any of you have got a Tassimo machine, that's how I judge the size of all my cups. So a Tassimo coffee machine will give you a proper, this will fill it perfectly, which is a decent sized cup. Sometimes with coffee cups, if they're too small, your Tassimo machine overflows, or if they're too big, you only get half a cup. It's the perfect size. But it's an 11-ounce cup. So they are actually... Let's measure it in inches. Just shy of 4 inches in height. And you see, 3 3/4 inches in height. So it's a decent sized cup. So if that one doesn't go on the website, it means I've kept it. If it does go on the website, because of the ghosting issue, it will be heavily reduced. But I just don't think, like this cup, I wouldn't have sold because they're not granny squares, they're rectangle. But this cup's still beautiful. And I'm not going to not sell it because it's got a slight issue on it. So the last design. Oh, I spent all day yesterday making this, all day. I can't believe I'm at an hour and 10 minutes. I've never gone over an hour on a podcast. I love it. I absolutely love this one. It's just... Isn't it beautiful? And if you look at the sheep has got the knit stitch. It's not focusing. There you go. The knit stitch on it. And this one, the design is on both sides. That's my favourite one. I absolutely love it. And it just says, knitting is my happy place. So they are going on to the shop. They'll be on Friday probably. And the last bit of shop talk is the 1st of November. Danny is doing his mystery boxes again. Yay! They will go on to sale on the 1st of November. There will be limited places for those. We'll talk about that more at the time, but they are very, very limited because it's a lot of work. So the mystery boxes will go on sale on the 1st of November and they will be shipped at the end of November. They'll stay on sale for about 2 weeks, I think, or maybe a week. Just gives us a chance to make everything. The only thing... 10 days, Danny's giving me that sign in the background. 10 days. Meet in the middle. The only thing you will know about the mystery boxes is you will get a sock set and you will get a project bag. Everything else that are in these mystery boxes are a mystery. That's the whole point of them being a mystery box. They are not going to be the same price as we did last year. They're going to be slightly more expensive because everything has gone up more expensive. They will be £50 and it will be... postage on top of that as well, but it will be worth every penny. There will be lots of things inside, lots of different things inside, little gifts, little funny things, things to make you smile. In the run up to Christmas, it can be the most stressful time, and so many people, I know I can struggle with it, and so many people struggle with the run up to Christmas. It's not a joyous time for all. It can be very difficult for some people, and especially running around, doing everything, it can be stressful. So there's going to be things in this box to make you smile and hopefully just to de-stress you a little bit and just make you realise that we don't have to get so stressed. So hopefully, yeah. All you will know is there will be a project bag and a sock set. Anything else in that box is a mystery. But there will be plenty and it will be well worth the money. So, with that being said, I have wombled on and wombled on for wombled. Is that even a word? I don't know. For an hour and 13 minutes. Unfortunately, I cannot leave this podcast at an hour and 13 minutes. I can't. 13 is not a number I can leave the podcast at. So, 30 seconds. I'm going to keep talking to take that over to an hour and 14 minutes. I'm not leaving it. I'm not leaving it at 1 hour 13. That's crazy. That's just asking for trouble, right? What else have I got to mention? I think that's everything. I'll just keep chatting. No, we're at an hour and 50, so I can waffle for a little bit longer. So I hope you've all had a lovely, lovely 2 weeks. I will see you again in 2 more weeks for another episode, and there will be the prizes for the Inspiration Make-Along on that episode as well. So thank you all for joining me. It's been lovely as always. I know there's been some new subscribers. I had the most amazing comment this morning from a lovely, lovely lady. So thank you so much for that lovely comment and welcome to the madness. And I will see you all again in 2 weeks. Stay safe, everybody.